Your ex swore up and down you'd never find better, but look at you now. Glowing, thriving, living a life so explosive and beautiful it could burn their fragile little ego to ash. They thought you'd crumble without them. You didn't just bounce back. You leveled up, skyrocketed, and turned your whole life into a masterpiece. Now, while they're stuck scrolling through your glow-up wondering where they went wrong, you're out here proving you were always the prize. You are the one that got away, and trust me, they feel it. Gaslighting is not a misstep. It's an act of war on your sense of self. It infiltrates your thoughts, turns your doubts into storms, and transforms your dreams into shadows of uncertainty. Their words weren't about lifting you up or even keeping things steady. They were about dragging you into the abyss of their own chaos. Their need to be the center of your world was never love. It was control masquerading as affection. They thought your silence meant submission. Every time they brushed off your ideas or minimized your dreams, they mistook your patience for weakness. Their miscalculation wasn't just in doubting you, it was in thinking you needed them to rise. They built their sense of superiority by planting doubt in your foundation, turning every ambition into a question mark and every victory into their validation. This pattern isn't new, it's the hallmark of those who fear losing power. They shrink the space you occupy because it terrifies them to see you take up more. Their insecurity whispers that their worth diminishes if yours grows, and so they chiseled away at your confidence, disguising control as guidance and gaslighting as love. At first it worked. The seeds of doubt grew in the cracks they created, and self-blame wrapped itself around your heart. You internalized their fears, mistaking them for truths. You grieved, not just for them, but for the version of yourself that dimmed to keep their comfort intact. The weight of their words was suffocating, but you weren't made to live beneath their shadow. That pain, as sharp as it was, became a blade that cut through their lies. You began to see the truth. Their attempts to diminish you were never about you. They were the reflection of their own limits. They underestimated the fire within you, and now that fire burns away every chain they tried to place. You've stepped into the fullness of who you are, a force their doubts could never contain. My ex told me I couldn't do better. You'll never find someone like me, they said, smug and sure of themselves. But let me tell you, those words didn't break me. They ignited something inside me. I didn't just survive, I thrived, on my own. I built myself back up, piece by piece, stronger than ever. I didn't need anyone else to complete me because I discovered the power and light I already carried within. Their doubts only pushed me to rise higher, to go further than even I thought I could. Now, as I stand in my truth, glowing and thriving, I think, better, I didn't just find it, I became it. And the best part? My success, my growth, my peace, it's all mine, and it had nothing to do with them. If any part of you resonates with this, drop a comment below saying, "Look at me now," to affirm that you've turned someone's doubts into undeniable proof that you're thriving. You faced the pain head-on and made one thing clear. It would not define you. The heartbreak, the betrayal, the lingering echoes of their words, they were heavy, but you refused to let them shape your future. Acceptance was your first step, not as surrender but as strength. You acknowledged what happened, you felt the weight of it, and then you decided, this is not where your story ends. You began to reflect, peeling back the layers of who you had become in their shadow. You asked yourself the hard questions: what do I need? What do I truly value? And for the first time in far too long, the answers weren't tied to their expectations or approval. You rediscovered the things that mattered to you, the dreams you had silenced, the voice you had muted to keep their comfort intact. Piece by piece, you started to see yourself again, not as they saw you, but as you are. Then came action. You set boundaries, not to keep others out, but to protect the space where you now thrive. You sought help, whether through therapy, supportive friends, or your own quiet moments of self-work. You practiced self-love, not in fleeting gestures, but as a deliberate daily commitment to yourself. Each step you took wasn't just healing, it was transformation. You stand taller, unshaken, and unapologetically you. What was once pain is now power. The broken pieces didn't fall apart. They reassembled into something stronger, something unstoppable. This is your transformation, not just surviving, but rising. And the best part? You're just getting started. Healing isn't just a feeling, it's a rewiring of your entire being. Your brain, scarred by the pain of rejection, betrayal, or loss, doesn't remain stuck forever. It begins to rebuild, forging new neural pathways every time you choose self-love over self-doubt. Positive affirmations aren't just words, they are the blueprint your mind uses to construct a new reality. Every time you tell yourself, "I am enough," your brain rewrites the story they tried to impose on you, replacing old, damaging patterns with new, empowering truths. Science shows that your experiences shape your brain, and with every new step you take, whether it's trying something unfamiliar, pursuing a passion, or simply waking up and choosing joy, you carve pathways of resilience. The negativity they planted doesn't stand a chance against the relentless growth you cultivate through gratitude and self-care. These habits don't just make you feel better. They rewire your brain to believe in your own strength, to find calm in chaos, and to see beauty where you once saw pain. This isn't magic. It's the science of survival and transformation. The same mind that once held their lies is now your greatest ally. It learns, adapts, and grows stronger with every choice you make to invest in yourself. Healing isn't passive, it's a revolution. With every boundary you set, every dream you chase, and every moment of gratitude you reclaim your mind, you aren't just healing, you're creating a version of yourself that their words could never touch. You are living proof that growth isn't just possible, it's unstoppable. Warning, this is not for muggles. Oh, so you're still here? Guess that means you're not just another NPC wandering the Matrix, huh? Let's be real, this isn't your self-help for normies retreat. The Obsidian Inner Order is where the truly chosen gather, sharpening their minds, manifesting their power, and leaving the beige existence of the mundane far behind. It's Hogwarts for the badasses who don't need a sorting hat to tell them they're elite. We've got weekly group calls where chosen ones dissect the Matrix playbook, a Star Chamber Discord packed with warriors of light, not wannabe influencers, and the content, too raw, too real for YouTube's fragile servers. Our latest exclusive, The Universe is Your ATM Machine, shows you how to systematically dismantle every abundance block the Archons planted. Spoiler alert, they want you broke because they fear your rise. But listen closely, we're not running a charity for the curious. If you want in, you better act now. The door is closing, and we're not holding it for the indecisive. Hit the link to join the Obsidian Inner Order in the description, or stay with the Muggles and let us know how that works out for you. They thought you'd fade. They thought their absence would dim your light, that you'd collapse under the weight of their departure. But instead, you rose, and now your brilliance blinds them. Your confidence returned first, not as a whisper but as a roar. The voice they tried to silence came back stronger, unyielding, declaring that you were more than their doubts, more than their projections. Piece by piece you reclaimed yourself. What they broke you rebuilt, not as it was but better, sharper, invincible. Your joy became undeniable. You rediscovered laughter, not the kind you gave them to keep the peace, but the kind that bubbled up from the depths of your freedom. Every small step you took, every boundary you set, every moment you chose yourself became a victory they couldn't erase. The joy they thought they could extinguish now burns brighter than ever. And in your career, your friendships, your spiritual growth, you thrived. No longer bound by their limitations, you stepped into spaces they never imagined you could fill. You attracted healthier, more meaningful relationships, not because you were searching, but because you radiated so much strength and self-love that it became magnetic. Comment below, "My joy is unstoppable," to declare your freedom and strength, and hit that subscribe button to keep radiating power and attracting these divine transmissions into your life. Your heartbreak wasn't a punishment, it was the spark that set everything in motion. They left you with wounds, raw and aching, but those wounds weren't the end. They became the doorways through which your light poured out. As Rumi said, the wound is where the light enters you. And now you understand, the breaking wasn't destruction, it was transformation. At first it felt like ruin. Pain crashed into you like a tidal wave, leaving you gasping, reaching, desperate for something to hold on to. You questioned everything, your worth, your choices, even your ability to move forward. But deep within, something else stirred. It wasn't survival. It was power, quiet but unrelenting, rising through every tear they left behind. You didn't just survive, you stepped into something bigger. Your journey wasn't about putting yourself back together the way you were. It was about becoming what you were always meant to be. That heartbreak carved you open, and in the emptiness they left, the divine found its way in. The fire burned, but it didn't consume you. It refined you. Now you see it clearly. The pain wasn't the end, it was the beginning. The cracks in your heart became the paths through which your strength flowed. What they thought would destroy you only revealed the magnitude of your resilience. You are no longer just healing. You are thriving, shining brighter than ever. Their absence didn't break you. It birthed the unstoppable force you are today. Your light, born from the wound, is blinding, and it's all yours. Psychology tells us this: authenticity is the foundation of true happiness. When you live as your real self, unburdened by expectations that don't align with you, your mind finds peace, and your spirit begins to thrive. Stress fades because you're no longer twisting yourself to fit their narrative. Fulfillment becomes your reality, not because life is suddenly perfect, but because it's finally your own. When you let go of their version of who you were supposed to be, you didn't just find freedom, you reclaimed power. Their voice, their doubts, their expectations, none of it has weight anymore. You've stepped out of the box they tried to keep you in, and with every move forward you feel lighter, stronger, more you. Authenticity isn't about seeking approval or trying to be enough for others. It's about knowing that you are enough as you are, that your truth is valid and powerful. By choosing your voice over theirs, you let go of the lies they wove around you and stepped fully into your identity. Now, you wake up every day and own your decisions, your dreams, your life. No more shrinking to fit their mold. No more walking on eggshells or silencing your own needs to maintain their comfort. Every choice you make is a celebration of your freedom, your resilience, your brilliance. This is your new chapter. Not just surviving, but thriving. Not just living, but flourishing. And every step forward is a testament to the strength it took to reclaim what was always yours. You've done the work, and it shows. Toxic patterns no longer define your relationships because you refused to let them define you. You tore down the walls of fear and dependency they tried to build around you. Now, the connections in your life are rooted in respect, love, and growth, not control, not manipulation, and certainly not fear. Psychology tells us that healthy relationships begin within. When you broke free from seeking validation or fearing abandonment, you rewired your brain to seek connection, not attachment. You stopped looking for others to complete you and realized you were whole on your own. That realization was your power. It reshaped the way you let people into your life. Now, your relationships thrive on mutual understanding. You're surrounded by people who celebrate your strength, not those who feel threatened by it. They see your light and never try to dim it. They meet you at your level, not out of obligation or convenience, but because they truly value who you are. This is what happens when you do the inner work. You attract connections that mirror your growth. You've set boundaries that don't just protect you, they honor your worth. You no longer settle for crumbs because you've realized you are worthy of the whole feast. The toxic ties are gone, and in their place are bonds that lift you higher. This is the life you've built, one of strength, clarity, and love that flows both ways. It's not perfect, but it's real, and that's what makes it unstoppable. Like the lotus that blooms in the murkiest waters, you've risen above the chaos. The mud was meant to suffocate you, to pull you under, but instead it became the very foundation of your growth. The dirt didn't stain you, it nourished you. The darkness wasn't your enemy, it was your teacher. And when the time came, you didn't just break through the surface, you thrived, your brilliance untouched by the filth they thought would consume you. This is your truth. The chaos they left behind didn't destroy you, it revealed you. They thought you'd drown in the mess they created, but you transformed it into fuel for your growth. The pain, the betrayal, the doubt, they became your roots, anchoring you as you reached higher. You've risen not in spite of the mud, but because of it. What you've become is undeniable. Your growth, your clarity, your light, none of it can be dimmed by the past. The muddy waters no longer hold you. They're far below, remnants of a place you no longer belong to. This is who you are now, unshaken, unbroken, untouchable. And just like the lotus, your rise is nothing short of extraordinary. They thought they'd moved on without consequence, convinced you'd stay stuck in the shadow of their leaving. But now, they watch silently, unable to look away from the glow-up they never thought you'd achieve. Every post, every update, every whispered mention of your success cuts through the fantasy they created about your supposed downfall. The life they assumed they left in ruins has become a masterpiece, and they're left questioning everything. Psychology calls it cognitive dissonance, the clash between their actions and the reality unfolding before them. They told themselves you'd fail without them, that their absence would break you. But now they sit with the discomfort of realizing they were wrong. It eats at them, that quiet regret, because your growth dismantles the narrative they built to justify walking away. They see the strength you've cultivated, the light they tried to dim burning brighter than ever. Through mutual acquaintances, through the unavoidable trails of your presence, they hear about your wins, the career milestones, the laughter in your voice, the way your life exudes peace and power. It's a mirror they can't turn from, reflecting their missed opportunity, their failure to see your worth when they had the chance. You, on the other hand, don't need their regret. Your journey was never about them. Their silent observations, their lingering thoughts, they don't affect you. You've moved past their shadow into your own light, unshaken by their absence. Let them watch, let them regret. You've already won. As they replay the choices they made, it's not you who's left wondering, it's them. Every milestone you've achieved, every joy you've reclaimed, every light you've restored to your life has become a reflection of what they let slip through their fingers. Psychologists call it rosy retrospection, the tendency to idealize the past when confronted with regret. And now, as they look at you thriving, they can't escape it. They thought leaving you meant freedom, but all they've gained is the hollow realization that their overconfidence blinded them to your worth. What they dismissed, they now crave. What they took for granted, they now glorify. Spiritually, this isn't random. This is divine justice unfolding before your eyes. As Genesis chapter 50 verse 20 says, what they meant for harm, God turned into good. Their attempts to tear you down, to leave you in a place of despair, only became the foundation of your transformation. The pain they caused didn't break you. It refined you, revealing the unstoppable power that was always within you. Let them carry the weight of their regret. Their haunting is their burden, not yours. You don't need their validation, their apologies, or their approval. What they lost, they will never reclaim. What you've become, they'll never deserve. You stopped living for their approval the day you realized their opinions were never the source of your worth. The grip they had on your life wasn't about love or guidance, it was control, a relentless need to shape you into someone who made them comfortable. But you broke free. You stopped walking to their rhythm and started dancing to your own melody, a powerful, unrelenting symphony they could never silence. Psychology shows us the truth you've already lived. Intrinsic goals like personal growth and fulfillment bring real, lasting happiness. External validation, the kind they dangled over you like a prize, was never enough because it wasn't meant to sustain you. You shifted your focus inward, reclaiming your narrative, choosing to measure success not by their approval, but by the strength you felt when you looked in the mirror. That decision, choosing yourself, was the ultimate act of liberation. What they meant to break you only built you stronger. You took the pain, the rejection, the lies they fed you, and turned it into power. Their doubts became your fuel, their absence your space to grow. You didn't just survive, you thrived. You rewrote the rules they tried to cage you with, proving that the only validation you ever needed was your own. Spiritually, this wasn't a detour. It was divine realignment. What felt like heartbreak was the force that set you on the path to your highest purpose. God didn't let the pain go to waste. He used it to sharpen you, to clear the way for a life they could never give you. Now you don't just exist, you live, fully, unapologetically, magnificently. And as they watch from the sidelines, you rise higher, untouchable, radiant in the glow of your freedom. Your life is the proof they need. The battles you've fought, the heartbreak that could have buried you, and the transformation that followed. These are the flames lighting the way for others still trapped in the dark. You are living evidence that pain doesn't have the final word, that thriving after destruction is not just possible, it's inevitable when you refuse to stay down. Maya Angelou said, "You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated." And you've lived those words. Every defeat sharpened your edges and prepared you for the victory you stand in now. Psychologically, your journey activates something powerful in others. Mirror neurons in their brains spark as they see your glow up, your resilience, your ability to rise from what seemed like ashes. Your success whispers to them, if they can do it, so can you. You've become the permission they need to believe in their own strength, to take the first step toward healing and growth. Your scars, once sources of shame, now speak louder than words. They show the truth, that every wound can heal, that every struggle can be a stepping stone. When others see you standing tall, they see that their own struggles aren't the end but the beginning of something greater. You've become a force of empowerment. You no longer just carry your story, you wield it like a sword, cutting through the lies that others believe about their worth. Your light isn't just for you, it's a beacon calling others out of the shadows. You've turned your pain into power, and now that power is contagious. Your legacy isn't just survival, it's a revolution. You're proof that transformation isn't just personal, it's universal, and as you rise, you take others with you. Your best life starts now, not as a destination, but as the horizon you're moving toward, step by step, fueled by the clarity and strength you've earned. You're no longer shackled by their doubts, their expectations, or the limitations they tried to impose. What lies ahead is infinite possibility. The dreams you almost gave up, the passions you rediscovered, the relationships you now choose with intention and worth. Psychologically, this focus on the future is your power. Setting goals that align with who you are today, not who they wanted you to be, creates purpose, direction, and joy. Studies show that future-focused living not only improves mental health but also gives life deeper meaning. You're not just looking ahead, you're building a life that reflects your strength, your growth, and your unstoppable spirit. This momentum isn't temporary. Your glow-up wasn't a one-time event, it was the ignition of a lifelong journey. Every step forward strengthens you further, adding to the light they thought they could extinguish. Growth isn't a finish line, it's the constant unfolding of everything you're capable of becoming. Spiritually, your story is proof of transformation. What they meant for harm, God turned into purpose. Your heartbreak didn't derail you. It became the fertile ground for the life you're creating now. Every victory, every milestone, every moment of peace and joy is a testament to how far you've come and how far you're going. This is your time. The possibilities ahead are endless because you've chosen them. The momentum is yours to keep, and the horizon, it's brighter than ever. Let them watch, let them wonder, but don't look back. What's next for you is everything they said you couldn't have, and more. They said you'd never find better, but now you know the truth. You are the better. Your life is the miracle they never saw coming, a masterpiece built from the rubble they thought would bury you. Every scar you carry, every step you've taken, every victory you've claimed is proof of your resilience, your self-love, and the divine favor that has always been yours. You are not the person they left behind. You are the force they can never touch. This isn't the end of your story. It's only the beginning. You were chosen to rise, to shine, and to show others what's possible when you refuse to stay broken. Your life is more than a triumph. It's an anthem for anyone who's ever doubted their strength. You are the living, breathing evidence that no setback can define you, no heartbreak can limit you, and no one else can determine your worth. Now it's your turn to inspire. Share your glow-up, your victories, your transformation. Let your story be the light for others who are still searching for their way. You've been where they are, and your voice could be the spark that changes everything for them. Together, we are a community of chosen ones, proving that no darkness can dim the brilliance of those who refuse to stop thriving. Keep thriving, keep glowing, and never forget, you were destined to rise, and your best is yet to come. The world hasn't seen the full force of who you are yet, but they will.